And the point that I want to make to you is a profound political lesson that I learned.
Hey, here's something to bring a smile to your face. Bernie Sanders, the one and only Colonel Sanders of collectivism, just made himself an easier target for justified ridicule and laughter after he tweeted, get this, he can't do math. What took you so long to admit it, Bernie? Collectivism. You know, one of the key points about collectivism I stress to students is the fact that every form of collectivism, be it socialism, communism, or fascism, in fact, any form of statism, doesn't work economically because it encounters what's known as the calculation problem. Now, that's the fact that by removing private property, ownership, or control to whatever degree and replacing it with political dictates, the individual valuation process is destroyed. And that means that real prices can't be applied to resources. Hence, the more collectivist a system is, the less it will be able to respond to the needs of the population. And well, of course, good old Bernie, the collectivist Colonel Sanders, is an avowed socialist. We've already known that for quite a while.
Let me very briefly describe my political journey.
And we know he probably has no inkling about calculation. And guess what? He actually acknowledged this on the 27th of April over Twitter. I may not be a great mathematician, but I did learn in elementary school that 99% is a hell of a lot more than 1%. Hashtag organize with Bernie. Good old Colonel Sanders revealed more of his political secret recipe, pushing his, of course, cliched class envy David versus Goliath line once more. And he got plenty of the mockery he so richly deserved. As Locke Wiggins wrote, quote, while we're talking about things you're not great at, you might want to brush up on economics. Chicks on the right offered, says the millionaire who not only takes $175,000 salary from taxpayers now, but also takes a taxpayer-funded pension from his 1980 mayoral days. Comb your freaking hair, socialist weirdo. Oh man, this is great. And Dan Shearsmate wrote, 1% of anything is more than 99% of nothing. And of course, a bunch of lefties defended Bernie with their cliched, typical jabbering about making the upper class pay their fair share.
Now, as all of you know, there are a lot of angry people out there, all across the country.
But that actually lets us pull some long-lasting lessons about economics and ethics from all this. First of all, as a matter of history and lexicography, the United States actually has no classes. Class is derived from medieval peerage systems, where, of course, the monarchs bestowed certain privileges on certain people who helped the royalty. These would be knights, kings, earls, dukes, so on and so forth, and they became the landed gentry. They became the upper class. The serfs, who weren't given these favors, were the lower class. Now, in the United States, we never had a medieval peerage system, so there technically is no class system in the United States. And if you want to double check on that, simply walk up to a bunch of collectivist politicians and ask them to define for you by some number what class is the upper class and what class is the lower class for earnings. And guess what? Every one of them will give you a different number. It's pretty easy to figure out. Now, the second lesson that can be derived from this Marxist class envy rhetoric of Bernie Sanders can be found in his 1% rhetoric. In fact, we can look at this on a few levels. First of all, if one wants to talk about so-called tax fairness and how can theft ever be fair, well, perhaps one might want to look at who actually pays the bulk of the income taxes in the United States and has done so year after year after year. And that would be, the upper earners. As the National Taxpayers Union reports, The top 1% of earners paid 37.32% of all income taxes in 2016, and the 25% top earners paid 85.97% of all income taxes. The bottom 50%, well, they paid just 3.04% of all income taxes, and many of those people on the lower end actually receive money through the Earned Income Tax Credit. And finally, not only does smacking the higher earners actually punish them for their hard work, these are the very people who, if it is a free market system and not some sort of managed system with bailouts and cronyism, the kind of thing that Bernie supports through bailing out auto union workers by giving money to the auto manufacturers.
I voted for that bailout and support of the workers in the automobile industry.
If it's a free market, the people who are at the top have only earned their money by pleasing customers and showing business acumen. They're the very people that you want to be able to keep their money because they've shown they understand business. They're the people you want to have save and invest and risk their money on new ventures. Not the politicians, not people like Bernie Sanders, who's never really been involved with a business all his life. There's a clear distinction here, and Bernie doesn't get it. On every level, he doesn't get it. Ethics, economics, or history. But we get it, you get it, and some of those great people on Twitter get it. It was terrific to see their responses. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Send some messages to Bernie anytime you want. And thank you very much for watching the videos here at MRC TV. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.